So impulsive running away, the basic number one, if let's say if it's a general education classroom and then classroom, it's a you teach in your self-contained classroom, basically whatever you teach, that should be child instructional level work. I believe you guys know now, right? Instructional level is 90% or above. Independent level is 95%. And other than that, it's all frustration level. So whatever you are teaching that day, that moment, if it's above their above their level, okay. So their frustration, let's say the child can only count 1 to 5, but child is 10 years old. However, the child barely count 1 to 5 and fluently can count 1 to 5. However, 6, 7, 8, and then it's random. Then child instructional level is 1 to 5. And then your teaching is within that 1 to 5, and then child can participate. Makes sense, right? However, child can only do 1 to 5, and then you have a child that can do 1 to 20, and then you have a child that can do 1 to 10. So 3 children get together, you do small group instructions. And then only 2 children can do it, this child cannot do it. And then how can the child, bear that boring moment? All of whatever you're teaching is a foreign language. So it's very hard for them. So that's the number one rule. No matter what you do, how wonderful lessons you do, it's above their instructional level. It's not the lessons they can participate. It's not because your teaching is, not good or just you don't know how to teach. It's not that. No matter how gorgeously you teach, how measurably you teach, if it's above children's level, that child level, not children's level, that child level, then children will entertain, amuse themselves. So that is challenging behaviors for the teachers. Okay, so that's we understand that logic first, and then later when you talk with that general education teachers and even IEP meeting, and then you explain this, they will really respect you. So come on, this child, and then this level, and then it's not because of you. It's not your teaching. You just did not meet the child level. Okay, so that's the number one rule. And then child instructional level work. So the lesson is by the child instructional level. And then you understand that that is a nature call for physical moves and breaks. Child cannot sit strong. Okay, so child has to do physical self-control. With self-control, we talk about only our mind and emotional self-control, mental self-control. How about physically, child can control themselves. So you remember the quiz I gave you about the school break, right? School schedule, and I compared with the Korean schools and American schools, right? That is why I gave that. It's not to brag Korean schools or any, to understand, because children are movers, active movers. So we cannot ask them to sit for 1 hour, 2 hours. Even you guys, I often make you sit here without having break, 2 hours, over 2 hours, 1 hour, 30 minutes. You know how hard it is. So in the classroom right now, you're at home. So you can, squat, move, you can get up, you can do it, but children cannot do it. If they do it, and then it's right away, it's a disruptive behavior. So that's what I said. Just, between sessions, you make about 20 minutes session in special education, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then 30 minutes, whatever minutes, each child the maximum minutes, how much long they can sit through. And then everybody just get up and then you do some yogas and brain gyms or jumping jacks, something move inside the classroom if you cannot take a kids outside. Okay, so that's what I meant that quiz. I compared how we organized our school schedule meant to child fail. They can't help but fail because without that break, it's very hard for little children to sit through. Okay, and then we teach sustained sitting with quiet hands and then table work behaviors. Especially special education, we have to do that. We need their attention, or whatever we teach, it doesn't go. And I believe, a couple of quick questions I talked about the adults' expectation, adults' perspectives, beliefs, how it can change your teaching. Even though we are in special education, we often believe unconsciously, not consciously, even though consciously we say, yes, children with disabilities can learn. However, unconsciously, we respect their disabilities. We respect that disability means we accept as who they or who he is, she is. And based on that, we teach. I'm not sure even we teach. In my 351 class, that's an elementary class, on Monday, I talked about this. Okay, many times we respect too much children and then we got confused. Because they ask, how can I make my lessons and make children interested? How can I make children have fun from my teaching? How can I consider my children's, don't feel stressed in my classroom? So I told them, you're not nannies or babysitters, take caregivers. You are teachers. Teachers means your job is not entertain them. Your job is teaching them. And then your job is teaching them doesn't mean you gotta be a dictator. It means you entertain them through their self-achievement, accomplishment, that great feeling. Think about yourself when you are most happy. When you feel proud of yourself, or when you do well something, you never thought you're gonna do it, but you did. That is the greatest fun feeling, and you cannot compare that feeling with anything. Little children have the same. Even ASD children, we think they even, we don't know what they are thinking. You see their grins on their face when they did something well, and then you praise them. So that's human beings. We are humans. Okay, so teachers means you teach and then your students feel self-accomplishment. That is the fun you have to generate. Okay, so that's a basic. I know I was a little bit harsh to the student with that, but I really hope we all understand we are educators. Okay, we are educators. That's why I used in my lecture Anne Sullivan and Helen Keller. Because I said in my lecture, if Anne Sullivan was there, she believes she's hired as a nanny, full-time nanny or something, and she didn't believe herself as a teacher, she would not see Helen Keller's inside her mind, her desperation, her desire. That smart girl inside, that smart potential intelligence. However, her outside, she didn't know how to communicate with the world, anyone, because of her visual impairment, hearing impairment. She's sensory system is all covered in black. And she was so smart and she was so frustrated, so desperate. she used her own emotional outbursts and behaviors. That's what she communicated. Anne Sullivan was a teacher. She believes herself as a teacher. That's how she saw her potential intelligence inside her through her behavior. Because without those potential intelligence, any girls and any little children can show that much behaviors. It's a smart behaviors. It was her communication. That's how she saw. So it's important how you treat yourself. Okay, you are here in this program, whatever disability areas you chose, you truly believe you came here to be an educator, to be a teacher, and then you have to train yourself honestly. Okay, if you believe, I really like to do something for the children with the disabilities, what do you want to do something? What is that something? You respect their disabilities. They deserve a comfort life. They deserve a great life. What is a great life? I think, most great life is they understand who they are, what they are living. They understand what's going on around them. All whole world are meaningful to them. That's something. Okay, I know it's a little bit sensitive topic to talk. However, it is about our perspectives, and always you guys have to check. One student asked how we can keep up our passion we had in the beginning, and then later on becoming experience years ago, and then we got frustrated, and then later eventually we will be burned out, and then how can I keep my passion? That's the only way you can keep passion, okay? However, especially many special education teachers, you go out and see, and then you will see those special education teachers stay for the paycheck, not really stay for the children, honestly. And then you decide to yourself, you tell yourself, I'm not gonna be a teacher like that, okay? It's not because they are bad or just wicked people or just like no passion. It's not that. They all started with a great passion. While they are passing years, they did not see their teaching result outcomes in children. That's all. They make a real change. You said a change. Real change means it's not just a child momentarily just feel good because you feed them and you gave them great, something. It's not that. The child really make something, and then now child sees me before she even didn't make any eye contact. Now child sees me, look at my eyes when I call the child look. And then I said the hands, and then child just raise the hands. Who taught that? You taught that. And then child can make eye contact, sustain the eye contact. Who made it? You did. No teachers could do up to 9 years old boy came to you, and at age 9, now John, that little boy could do that. Who made it? Me. You are full of pride, what you did. That maintain your passion. Nothing. Your pay will increase every year, salary. If you just don't see your that pride in your job, it doesn't mean any. Teachers' pay is nothing. You go out and any job you take, you can get paid that much, right? So you don't choose this job for pay because pay is good. You thought that this is a really meaningful job, and then ask yourself, what meaning I'm seeking? I said that this is a meaningful job. What meaning I'm thinking? Do I have a sympathy in children, not empathy? You have to ask yourself, okay? So this sustained sitting with quiet hands. Number one, hands itself is very distractible. Children's hands on the table, pretty much is distracting them. They touch that, visit that, okay? So what I'm saying is to get their attention, always we have to intentionally teach that and shaping through your instruction. This is instruction. It could take several months. It could take a month. However, we intentionally teach them. Okay, I made a little, lecture about this seating last night, and then it's open to public, not for my classes. I just talked about this. Hands always stay on the lap. So when I work with Miss Roberts, Miss Molcom, and Miss Weaver, my hands always on my laps. And then I look at the teacher. That moment is not long. However, we train them before that. This will be your first teaching in your job, new class, you have a new student, you intentionally have to invest the time and work on this. After this, you can teach whatever you want to teach. Okay, again, it's not because you're a dictator, you want a quiet class. It's not that. It's for the child. Because the child came to school, came to your classroom, you must teach, child must learn from you. However, without that, child cannot learn. Okay, so hands on the laps under the table. That is a basic rule. And I use SNAP as an instructional tool. So it's not reinforcer. We do not use a reinforcer here. Reinforcer, many school teachers, especially in special education teachers, use reinforcer incorrectly. What they are using is not reinforcer. Reinforcer always conditional. You have to have a condition. Okay, child does this. It's like a token economy. You're gonna use it in classroom management. That's a reinforcement. So this I use SNAP. Why? Many children, especially children with autism, many children may have a verbal skills, but they barely even make a communication. Conversation is just like, it's not even, there on the table, even barely make a communication. So what do? We have to intentionally use our non-linguistic, linguistic communication. We have to teach them. When I do this, child understand what that means. Okay, so pick right size table. It is very important. So you must have in the classroom, your new teacher there. If your classroom does not have a kidney table with adjustable table legs, okay, you need a little bit diverse tables. It is very hard to do one-on-one teaching. However, with the children with autism, you have to do one-on-one teaching in the beginning. So, however, use small group teaching. If you have, about 5 children in a classroom, less than 10 children in a classroom, you can survive if you have at least 2 paraeducators. However, these days, right now, teachers are screaming because they cannot have a paraeducators. It's every area because of this corona. People are lacking. No paraeducators. And most of my graduate students said that they are by themselves or barely have one. So it is very tough. However, this right size table is based on the child level, not your level. Okay, so child feet must be on the floor, not in the dangling. And then dangling and means they're gonna play, they're gonna dance, do leg dance and feet dance. So must be on the floor. So you have to adjust their chair height and table height. Okay, so that's very important. And then I'm going to explain a little bit more that after, next slide has it. And gradually, you're going to gradually, shape their behavior. And this one is very important. Most of teachers work, sit side by side. I'm sitting here and then my child is here or here, right side or left side. You cannot do that. Every classroom I go, always paraeducators side by side, teachers do side by side. You must sit across the child. Why do you sit side by side? It's for the child, it's for you. It's for teachers because you cannot see upside down. You sit across the child, everything you have to write a reverse, right? If you want a child to draw a line from left to right, and then you have to do right to left. So that's a child view. But however, you must sit across the child, make sure your eyes are always on the child face, child eyes. You have to make sure child is listening, child is following you. So you just nanosecond, you check when you do hand work, you do nanosecond, you just, like glance, and then your eyes are on the child. And then any nanosecond child eyes drift off, you make a small tap, and then child comes back. And then you start, okay? So I said why, because even professors asked me why, side by side, and then we are on the same direction. However, you don't see the child face, and then you see only side. Or you ask the child, look at me, and then child turn the head like this, right? The child eyes are not on the work. However, you sit across the child, and then child eyes on the work, and then you can check a child doing. If a child cannot do it right away, you can check, you can modify their work. Okay, so that's very important to remember that. And I said shape eye contact, that I'm going to explain a little bit later because it's all one activity we want to do all together. Okay, I'm going to explain that a little bit later. And then shape selective sustained attention, and then teach it, do not test. Let's come back after this one. This is what I do. Okay, I sit with a child. In the beginning, child is ASD child, and then ASD child, you just verbally give the child, come sit down and don't move. It does not work. So what do you do? In the beginning, you have to sit down with the child, make a communication path. So needs to needs. Young children, it's the same. Okay, I'm just using ASD child. In the beginning, you meet the child in the first time, and then you have some small goodies. You already talk to parents, and then parents could bring the child a favorite snack. Okay, as soon as you see the child, hi John, it's good to see you, and then put the one snack piece into the child's mouth. You do just not give it to his hand. Okay, and then child see you first time, and then kind of nervous and shy, and then suddenly this person gives me the food I like, and then he eats. Good job. You pat the child head or shoulder. Good. And then it was very good. It doesn't matter. Child doesn't understand that doesn't matter because you talk and you show smile and gentle smile. And then you just pat the child and then give another one. And then the child eats. John, let's say John eats. And then what do? Hands. You just hold out hands, and then child saw, and then child may just bring that hold your hands. If a child even doesn't understand, and then you say hands, and then you grab the child hand, and then you walk. because most of children in the beginning very nervous. They may show tantrum and crying and resist, fight. Okay, so naturally you hold the child's hands and then come into the classroom, and then there is 2 chairs face to face, and then you hold the child and then guide the child to the seat. Sit there, and then you sit in front of the child, and then almost knees to knees child. So child is in your arm stretch. Okay, and then you sit there, and then you still have those snacks, and then child will look at that snacks and look at you, and then that's a starting point. And then you say, John, and then yes, John would not answer. You say, yes, John, and then at least, and then good job. Or just look at you, that is their child answer, and then put another snack into the child's mouth. Good job. And then you wait, and then child try to and sit, and then you pat the child, laps, and then child, and then sit back. Good job, and then put another snack. This is a communication. Okay, it's a communication. So you extend that, and then just don't do any. That's a instruction. And then about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, call the parents, ask the parents to take the child home. Okay, so it's if a child, you see the children, it's a little bit wild behavior, severe communication issues, I recommend you rather give your summertime. Do this with you have 5 children. I would do during the summer in August, about a few weeks, every day ask parents to bring the child, and then do just 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You extend the time length. Okay, eventually what do? You move on to the table. So child could sit there with you about 20 minutes, and then it's a time to start. We can sit across the table. So we put the table, and then we have this, snacks. And then this snack is you do not just arrange before. So child sat, you sat, and then you have a napkin there, and then you take out the bag in front of the child. Can you hear this tapping? And then you just, John, and then John will look. And then 1, you hold. And then child look, and then you put it down. Okay, very slow motion. And then John will follow, eyes follow you. And then take out 2, and then hold up. And then inside you count 2, and then put it down. So in the beginning, if a child is very impulsive, you could do, 3 goldfish. If a child is a little bit calm, and then you can go 10. It's based on your ability, how much that far you trained. And then eye contact, we work with that. Okay, so you just 1, and then you pick John, and then John doesn't see it. You just make a tap again, and then John look, and then 1. So in the beginning, you just hold it 1, and then 1 second, and then put it. However, later on, you hold it, and then 5 seconds wait, and then John will look 5 seconds, and then give. Eventually 10 seconds. So that's how we intentionally sustain their eye contact. And then their selective attention, this is a sustained attention. Okay, so it's one activity has a multi-function. So we have goals: eye contact, selective sustained attention, sustained sitting, sustained eye contact. This is in the beginning, your first lesson. Okay, so these are we have I know some of you made the wrong choice for the attention. These are basically attention for our study instruction. For our instruction, we need selective, sustained, focused attention. These 3 attention. student-teacher relationship and teaching. However, attention, divided attention and focused attention and switching attention for the children with ASD, intellectual disabilities are very, very hard. Okay, so this divided attention means their attention is too much focused, and then it's like OCD. You obsessive, child obsessive something, and then no matter how loudly you call their name, they're not gonna turn, look at you. That's a divided attention. So this focused attention and divided attention is should not be conflicted. So we work these together. Okay, and then switching attention is more like a flexibility. They are doing something and somebody call and they can switch. It's not divided attention, it's a multitasking attention. You understand that. However, switching attention is too much focused and then they don't answer, they don't respond. And switching back is more like a cognitive flexibility. So many children show very difficult time in transition. So after that playground recess, and then, okay, time to go back to classroom and then line up, and then you always have a child with tantrum. And then because they cannot do that, it's very hard for them. Okay, and then we have a visual attention. I'm just reviewing what kind of attention we have. So it's a visual attention, it's a part of visual perception. This is the starting of a real learning. Okay, however, these are the consciousness. And then child must have this. These are all we are practicing through these. Okay, it's not one activity. We have a chained activity, instructional activities, but I'm just giving you in the beginning, very beginning part. Okay, so all these, teach, do not test. It's all about it's a several class amount of lectures. I'm just giving you some summary. And then when I have some chance, I can give you more detailed, later other classes. However, I just rather give you at least some of these ideas. And then if you're interested, and then you can study more about this. And many teachers, without thinking, they believe it's a teaching, but they test the child. And then especially special education children, they got so used to in failing. So anything, don't test, because children know it. Instead of, let's say, flashcard with all object pictures there, and you heard, what is this? Instead of saying that, you hold it. If you really want to know about the child knows it, you just hold it up. If a child knows it, you said, shh, still child will whisper. Children are very hard to hide what they know. They just say it, okay? No matter how much you said no. So if you want to know, and then you hold it 1 second, and then you say it, apple, and then put it down on the table. And then next one, house, and then put it down. Next one, computer, and then put it down. And then house, and then you hold out hand, house, and then child pick it up. And then child, you 1 second, house, and then child does not move right away, and then you tap the right answer, and then child gives you. They feel always comfortable working with you. Why? They never fail. It's so easy to follow because you give them all answers. Okay? So that's important, even though children, even severe disabilities, you believe they don't know it, but they know it. And then they more withdraw and passive, and then they have learned the helplessness later on, okay? So always just 1 second, and then you give the answer right away, and then later on, you repeat tomorrow, and then next day, and then next day, and then you see suddenly child hands go there, and then look at you. That means I think this is the answer, what you want, you're gonna pick, but look at you means making sure that you say yes, and then child gladly just pick it up, and that's sharing, social emotional sharing. So that's how we teach it. And then that, I said invite the children as a primary participants. Always your teaching does not just one way. Always just you show and then say and then put it down. Always just say, just apple and then tap and then child will pick up. Okay, banana and then tap and then child pick it up. Good job. And then still you tap it, but still child believes he knows and he pick it up. That's the feeling. So always working with my teacher and then feeling good, feeling safe, feeling good. Okay. And then make an instructional instrument at the child watch means like, this one, instead of I said, or don't prepare in the just a set before child sits. Still just you put it down and then hold up the child, one, and the child look and then down. One, in the beginning, child may just, impulsively grab and then hands out and then that's your sensitivity. Proactively, you just put it one into child mouth before child stretch the hands out and then you fight and then not touch it and then wait. You just give the child one and then put it down, okay? So all instrument is the same, flashcard. Instead of, those picture flashcard, I use pre-made other than just a word number card. I just, in front of child is just sitting here. I cut in front, and then child is watching. What am I doing? And then child, because it's not new meeting, child knows my teacher will do something fun. So watching. So you cut, make just a small flashcard with a blank sheet, and then with a magic marker, and then you write one, and then you write one small card. Can you see it? And then you write the one, and then one, and then child look, and then put it down. And the next sheet you write a two, you write and then two, and then child looks and then place down, and then child eyes follow you. It's automatically eye contact. Trust me, you don't have to worry about their eye contact. You don't have to worry about their attention. You do this much, and then it probably has been passed about 1 month, 2 months, and then child knows you, and they know the game rules, and they wait, they see, and then you spread out those numbers, and then you say 5, and then you tap it, and then child picks up. This is how we teach it. Okay, so that's what I meant here. And then shape, eye contact, and attention is all through, this I meant. Okay, so this is because most of issues with the children are receptive language. It is direction, following directions. So we never teach children how to follow directions, to be honest. However, we believe children understand and they're gonna do it. So always any directions you give, it gotta be measurable. It gotta be behavioral measurable. Okay, this is, I have here hide and seek here. Okay, many teachers play hide and seek. This is for the visual spatial relationship. And then we use the hide and seek inside and outside. And then we do with the object hide and seek. When you do always you say, touch my hands. You say, find me, find me. You say, hey, John, come touch my hands. You're hidden behind the curtain. Okay, you're behind the curtain. You say, instead of say, where am I? Find me. You say, touch my hands. And then John knows what to do. Or John finds you, but John will pass you. You just, John glance you and then pass. Not showing any signs. That's why many ASD children do not know how to communicate. Okay, so it's the same thing. Stand up, sit down, switching seat. These are waiting for directions. So they walk together with the child, hand in hand. And then these are the, one example, but it's getting right now, it's a 347. It's 1 hour 47 minutes, right? So I'm trying to be done by 4 o'clock. So these are the one of, hands because there are a lot of charging off. So we do child following directions. Once you practice this one, they're not gonna wander around the classroom. They're not gonna run away from you. So these are the even outside and the walking hand in hand walk in the beginning. Later on, gradually thumb, 2 hands, 2 fingers, 3 fingers, 2 fingers, and then down 1. And then later on, you walk side by side. You are not charging off, you are not delaying. Okay, this is motor sense as well. So this is practice. And then these are the, waiting for directions means in the middle of walking, you just stop and then ask the child, you step back. So you have about step, distance. And then you say, John, touch my hands. And then John comes and touch your hands. John stays there. Okay, so and then you walk again. In the middle, you stop, and then you just stop, and then you just step away, and then John, touch my hands. And then John touch. This is we are shaping, they're listening to the teacher. And then eventually 2 steps away, 3 steps away, 4 steps away, child would not charging off. They wait. And only you are wondering, okay, we use those snacks, how far? Only in the beginning. Only in the beginning, when I make a relationship with a child, good relationship, and then, child understand, because this snack is only to get the child interested, staying here, right? So it's instructional tools. After then, whole lessons, I never used any food or any items. Because other than that, since after then, they have their own reinforcement because they are having fun. Working with the teacher, they are having fun. Even child can sit down, stay at the table for over an hour. They could do that. So gradually, I'm just giving you some examples of how you can do this kind of communication, and then child stays with you. And eventually those sitting I explained in the beginning, and I went up to about 40 minutes sitting. In the beginning, I sit with the child. However, later on, child stays in the seat. I walk around, work. Of course, I'm watching the child. Child waits until I say, John, come touch my hand. And then child gets up and touch your hand. And then I say, go back to sit. And then child goes back to sit and wait. What do you think? This looks like too much, dictator